husband made plans that we wouldn't be migrating to any other country in the world, that we want to raise our children in Gaza. We want them to grow in Gaza. We want them to prosper in Gaza. We want them to be educated in Gaza. And we saw all the beautiful things that everyone else in the world could take for granted. We saw them significant in Gaza. So when a new place opened with very, let's say, basic compared to other places in the world, we were so excited as Gaza residents, not because this is the most that we have seen, no, but because we loved every little detail about Gaza. We appreciated every little detail about Gaza. We chose Gaza to be our nation. We chose Palestine to be our nation. And that's not easy. It's not easy when you are encouraged in every way. You're encouraged by wars. You're encouraged by military escalations every now and then. You're encouraged by siege. And you're encouraged by other financial privileges that you can get in other European countries if you apply for asylum there to leave your country. But yet you choose to remain there. That's why I say choosing a nation is a choice. You choose it by choice. This war, this genocide, destroyed 90% of my Gaza. I look at the pictures and the videos of the neighborhoods in the past 10 years, the streets that we drove in, we walked in, the places, the markets, the restaurants, the schools, the neighborhoods. Nothing is recognizable anymore. So if you don't have a caption in that video telling you what this place is, you wouldn't know what it is anymore. It is this much unrecognizable. It has been completely wiped off. Every single time you watch a video, you see buildings and homes exploding and being destroyed. We Palestinians convince ourselves, convince each other that it's fine. We're going to rebuild. We can recover. But that doesn't mean that it is not tearing us apart from the inside. Because your home is not just a wall. It's not a bunch of walls put together. They are the memories of your life. They're the years of the childhood of your children. They're the moments, the sad and the happy moments that you spent. They're the details that every single cushion, chair, vase in your home have a memory. But we have no choice but to convince ourselves that it's fine and we will rebuild. Because Palestinians don't have the privilege to break down. They don't have the privilege to lose hope. They don't have the privilege to say, we're tired and we're done. Truly, we don't have that privilege. After 1 week, no, sorry, less than 1 week in the war, a massacre in Jabalia refugee camp happened. And 3 homes were targeted, 20 people, about 20 people were killed, like instantly. Dozens were injured. A lot others were under the rubble. It was chaos. It was just at the beginning of the war, in the first week. And I went there quickly to cover. So I did, you'll find online a video that I did for digital quickly with my phone. And then I was situating my place with the camera to have my lives from the location. And suddenly, this man comes running. The Israeli army has called, they're going to restrike the area. Run. So he's screaming and screaming, run, they're going to hit again. Run, they're going to hit again. And suddenly, it was already chaotic. And suddenly everyone is running and screaming. And I'm a correspondent, so I have a producer, I have an assistant, I have a cameraman. And suddenly I look, I don't find any of them. They all ran away and left me. And I was like, where should I go? And I was like, I was terrified. I was terrified. I was not terrified of just the fact that we might actually all get killed now and no one would survive and they wouldn't even know where we are. And obviously, if we get struck like that, our bodies will vanish. All I thought about was my family won't know where I am. They wouldn't know that I was killed here because everyone else is going to get killed. Everyone else is going to vanish simply like that. The bodies are going to be in pieces. So the signals were really bad. But then, I don't know, like subhanAllah, I called from my cell phone and I called Doha news desk. And my friend, like my colleague on the news desk answers and I know her from her voice. So I'm like, Hayat, I'm at Jabalia refugee camp and they're going to restrike now. If I die, tell my family. And the first rocket falls. So she screams, Youmna, you're alive. So a small accident happens. It just like the pressure like throws me away. I get hurt. My phone falls like meters away. I get bruises. And I get up. And I'm wearing the press vest and a press helmet. My press vest was a very proper one. It was 13 kilograms. 13 kilograms from here to there, over my knees a little bit. And the press helmet with 3.5 kilograms. And I get up quickly. I get the phone and she's screaming, are you alive? Answer me, answer me. And I'm like, Hayat, that was the first missile. And she's like, run, Youmna, run. And I start running. I start running so fast, trying to escape. And I'm talking to her. And the second missile hits, but I'm already away. So I can hear that it's a little, I'm in the safe place. And then we gather, we find each other. We move back to the bureau. And I have like 5 minutes to just clear myself up, wash up. I didn't even have time to remove the blood from my knees and my hands. And I had to go live. That day, I didn't have time to realize what had happened. Just like as a person, you know, like not the journalist, but the person. I was just going to get killed now. And I was going to die in a way that my family wouldn't even find me. The end of that day, I went home. I was able to shower. I sat on my bed and I started crying, crying, crying with all my might. I cried out so much because then I started realizing what I went through. So Serene, my 8 years old, comes in and I have my hands on my face and she pulls my hands like that, so quiet. She's like, Mommy, you can't break down because if you break down, we see everything around us black and we can't survive. And you have to be strong so that we survive. And the way she spoke and her words, I felt like she's 18, not 8. She was very, very calm. And I just looked at her like that and I hugged her. She told me, I know it's hard, but you have to be strong. And I promised her that day that I will never break down again. Since that night, I swear to God, until after I evacuated Gaza, I did not break down one time. I wanted to so many times. I wanted to when Samir was killed, when he was left to bleed for hours, and Samir was a very dear friend of mine. And I got his news and I was so quiet. I put this concrete sheet on my chest and I promised myself to never break down. Days later, I got Hamza's news that he was killed. And I still didn't cry. I wanted to cry. I had to cry, but I couldn't cry anymore. I wasn't able of crying anymore. And then I was speaking to Wa'il a couple of days later. And Wa'il was like, Youmna, Hamza loved you very much. Hamza was like a young brother to me. He's way younger than me. And that is the word that made me cry for the first time in over 3 months. Because I really loved him. Because I really loved all of them. Because I really needed to let out a little bit of all the pain and despair and devastation inside my heart. The most people who are killed in every war are women and children. Everywhere in Gaza, the most casualties are among women and children. And the Israeli army knows very well when it's targeting those residential homes that there are women and children inside. And yet it targets them. Because the source of resilience and the source of steadfastness and the source of power and education comes from that Palestinian woman.